Good morning, everybody. As everybody said, thank you folks for coming out, because I know getting up was hard, because it was very hard for me, especially after a long night. But I'll be brief and just let everybody know a little bit about myself. As Ms. Grant introduced me so nicely, again, I'm Jonathan Irvine. I've been a judge in family court for about a year now. I'm going into my second year. However, prior to that, I worked in family court for about 15 years. And I did precisely the cases that I preside over now. I'm in the family court branch, and I do dependency cases. Most of you know it as DHS. When you hear those three letters, everyone normally gets upset. I understand why. But the one thing I would tell everybody is our job as judges is not to take children from families. Our job is to help families in crisis. It's very tough when you have to remove a child from a home for any length of time. So just know when we do it, it's because we have to. The standard that we always say down at court is we have to do what's in the best interest of the child. Now, mind you, I got to family court. I specifically requested to go to family court. I wanted to be there. I want to help our community. I want to help our children. And as a practicing lawyer for 15 years, I know a lot of the issues that are involved in the community, and I do my best to keep families together. No one wants to terminate anybody's parental rights. Again, no one wants to remove them for no reason. So hopefully I can answer any of your questions today. And just, when you're ready for questions, just let them fly. Thank you.
Thank you. The first question from our audience today is for Judge Irvine. The question is, why isn't there permanent legal custody?
Just to answer the question regarding permanent legal custody is a misnomer for lack of a better word, because basically permanent legal custody is where you place the child with someone, and if the parents at some point, if mom or dad at some point ever get their act together, they can go to 34 South 11th Street and reapply for custody. So I don't know why they call it permanent. It could be permanent, but it's based upon parents' behavior. And again, our goal is always to reunify the children with families. So we try to find ways to do that.
Well, then maybe that I could ask a general question. Do grandparents have rights in a situation where you may be a grandparent, you're seeing your grandchildren, treated in a way that you consider risky or dangerous or harmful in some way, and you're battling, in some cases, your own children? What rights do you have?
Grandparents absolutely have rights. However, they have rights in a limited capacity. Again, the judges have to make a decision as to who is the more appropriate caretaker at the time. Obviously, again, it goes back to the judges would prefer to keep the children with their parents. However, grandparents, for the most part, are next in the pecking order in terms of if you remove a child from a parent, you want to keep them with family. And again, obviously, grandparents, it's a case-by-case basis. If grandparents have taken care of the children for a long time, the judges take all of those factors into consideration. But you do have rights, but just know that your rights aren't as much as a parent's rights.
Here's another question that someone in the audience is asking. The central question here is, I'm the aunt, and I feel like I'm not being heard.
With respect to standing, obviously parents have standing. And if you are a foster care parent, how could I say it? You obviously, if you are a foster parent, you obviously can be heard at court. Just when you go into court, just request to the judge that you want to be heard on some issues, and he or she more than likely will let you address those issues. The legal standing is different from just asking to be heard. So can you be heard? The answer is yes.
Here's a complicated question from the audience. How do I get support for raising my granddaughter when she is out of state?
You would have to hire an attorney that works in that area to do the necessary legwork for you, unfortunately. That's because he or she would have to file the necessary paperwork in both jurisdictions. That's the sum of the answer.